Robert F. Kennedy was shot at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles at 12:15 a.m. on June 5, 1968 by Sirhan Sirhan, who fired from directly in front of him at a distance, witnesses estimated between 3 to 6 feet away, but the autopsy performed by Los Angeles County Coroner Dr. Thomas Noguchi definitively showed that the fatal bullet entered behind Kennedy's right ear at point-blank range, meaning the gun was 1 to 3 inches from his head based on powder burn patterns on the skin, creating an impossible contradiction that has never been explained because Sirhan was never behind Kennedy and was never closer than several feet according to every witness in the kitchen pantry that night. And when acoustic analysis in 2006 examined audio recordings from the scene, experts identified at least 13 distinct gunshots despite Sirhan's Iver Johnson cadet revolver only holding 8 bullets maximum, suggesting a second shooter fired from behind Kennedy while everyone's attention was focused on Sirhan in front. Yet the Los Angeles Police Department destroyed critical evidence, including ceiling tiles and door frames containing extra bullet holes that didn't match Sirhan's gun, and the most likely suspect, security guard Thane Eugene Cesar, who was directly behind Kennedy when the shooting started, admitted drawing his weapon, had documented hatred of the Kennedys, and sold his gun the day after the assassination, was never seriously investigated, leaving the question that has haunted researchers for over 50 years. If Sirhan Sirhan didn't fire the fatal shot, who did? June 6, 1968, 5:30 a.m. Good Samaritan Hospital, Los Angeles. Robert F. Kennedy had been dead for 4 hours. The official statement released, the nation mourning, but in the autopsy room, Dr. Thomas Noguchi was discovering something that didn't make sense. Noguchi, 40 years old, chief medical examiner for Los Angeles County, highly respected, meticulous, known for thoroughness. He'd performed autopsies on Marilyn Monroe, other high-profile cases. He knew the stakes here. This was a presidential candidate, a Kennedy. The world was watching. He had to get this right. Every detail documented, every measurement precise. Noguchi examined Kennedy's body carefully. 3 gunshot wounds visible. 1 behind the right ear, 1 in the right armpit, 1 in the back, near the shoulder blade. The head wound was clearly fatal. The bullet had entered the skull, traveled through the brain, lodged near the front. Massive damage. But it was the entrance wound that troubled Noguchi. The location, the angle, the evidence. He measured carefully, documented everything. Took photographs, made notes. Behind the right ear, contact range, point blank, powder burns visible on the skin, stippling pattern, unburned gunpowder particles embedded in tissue. This meant the gun muzzle was extremely close when fired. 1 to 3 inches maximum, possibly touching the skin. Noguchi knew ballistics, knew what powder burns meant. No question, this was a contact shot. He documented it all, photographed the wound, measured the burn pattern. Then he reviewed the witness statements that had already been collected. This video reveals the impossible contradiction at the heart of Robert F. Kennedy's assassination that the LAPD never adequately explained. Why Dr. Thomas Noguchi's autopsy proved the fatal bullet was fired from 1 to 3 inches behind Kennedy's right ear based on powder burn patterns, while every witness in the Ambassador Hotel kitchen pantry testified that Sirhan Sirhan fired from in front of Kennedy at a distance of 3 to 6 feet and was never behind him. How acoustic analysis of audio recordings in 2006 identified at least 13 gunshots despite Sirhan's revolver only holding 8 bullets suggesting someone else was shooting. Why the LAPD destroyed ceiling tiles and door frames containing bullet holes that didn't match the official count. Who security guard Thane Eugene Cesar was, and why he remains the most credible second shooter suspect despite never being seriously investigated even though he admitted drawing his gun while standing directly behind Kennedy and sold that weapon the day after the assassination. What happened when Sirhan's lawyers discovered evidence of more bullets than Sirhan could have fired, and the LAPD's response was to destroy the physical evidence. How Sirhan himself claims to have no memory of the shooting and multiple experts believe he may have been hypnotically programmed, and why after 56 years the evidence overwhelmingly suggests that while Sirhan Sirhan definitely shot at Robert F. Kennedy that night, he almost certainly didn't fire the bullet that killed him. Dr. Noguchi looked at the witness statements. What they described didn't match what he was seeing. Every witness Sirhan was in front of Kennedy, face to face, several feet away. The autopsy evidence, fatal shot from behind, point-blank range. These two facts couldn't both be true. Let's establish what everyone agrees happened that night. June 5, 1968, 1:15 a.m. Ambassador Hotel kitchen pantry. Robert F. Kennedy had just won the California Democratic primary. Given his victory speech, was taking a shortcut through the kitchen to reach the press room. Security guard Thane Eugene Cesar was assigned to guide Kennedy through the pantry. Cesar walked directly behind Kennedy. his hand on Kennedy's right elbow, standard protective position. The pantry was narrow, crowded. Kitchen workers lined the walls, supporters trying to get close to Kennedy. Sirhan Sirhan stood near a tray stacker, a metal rack where workers stacked serving trays. He'd positioned himself there, waiting. As Kennedy approached, Sirhan stepped forward, directly into Kennedy's path, face to face. Carl Euchre, maitre d' at the hotel, walking immediately in front of Kennedy, saw Sirhan raise the gun, reached out to grab Sirhan's arm. Too late, Sirhan fired. Multiple witnesses saw this, testified to it. No dispute about what Sirhan did. He fired 8 shots, rapid succession. His Ivor Johnson Cadet .22 caliber revolver emptied. Kennedy was hit 3 times, 5 other people wounded by the other bullets. Witnesses immediately tackled Sirhan, wrestled the gun away, pinned him down. All of this is undisputed. Sirhan definitely fired, definitely shot at Kennedy, was definitely there. The question isn't whether Sirhan shot. The question is whether his bullets were the ones that killed Kennedy. Dr. Noguchi's autopsy findings, June 6, 1968. Wound 1, fatal shot. Location, behind right ear, mastoid bone area. Trajectory, slightly upward, traveling through brain. Distance, contact range 1 to 3 inches based on powder burns. Powder stippling, heavy, indicating extremely close range. Bullet recovered, .22 caliber, severely fragmented, cause of death. This wound 2, location, right armpit. Trajectory, upward toward brain, bullet lodged in neck, brain area. Distance, contact range, powder burns present. Angle fired from behind and below. Wound stub 3, location, right shoulder blade area. Trajectory, upward. Distance, contact range, powder burns present. Bullet passed through, not recovered. All 3 shots fired from behind Kennedy. All 3 at point-blank range. Noguchi was certain. The physical evidence was clear. Powder burns don't lie. Now compare this to witness testimony. Carl Euchre, maitre d', directly in front of Kennedy. Sirhan was facing Kennedy. I saw him raise the gun. I grabbed for his arm. He was maybe 3 feet from Kennedy. No closer. I was between them. Juan Romero, busboy, beside Kennedy. The shooter was in front. I saw him clearly. He never got close. People were between him and Senator Kennedy. Frank Burns, Kennedy aide. I saw Sirhan fire. He was face to face with Kennedy, several feet away. Never got closer than that because we grabbed him. Lisa Urso, campaign worker. The gun was pointed at Kennedy from the front. I saw it clearly. The shooter never moved behind the senator. Vincent Di Piero, waiter. Sirhan fired from in front. Maybe 6 feet away. Never closer, I'm certain. Over a dozen witnesses, all saying the same thing. Sirhan fired from the front, several feet away, never closer than 3 feet, never behind Kennedy. But Noguchi's autopsy, all shots from behind, point-blank range. These cannot both be true. The LAPD's response to this contradiction, ignore it. Their official report concluded Sirhan acted alone, fired all shots, no second gunman. When questioned about the autopsy findings versus witness testimony, LAPD Chief of Detectives Robert Houghton said the witnesses were mistaken about distances. People don't judge distances accurately in chaotic situations. But the witnesses weren't just estimating. Carl Euchre was physically between Sirhan and Kennedy. He would have known if Sirhan got close enough for contact shots. The LAPD suggested powder burns could occur at greater distances than Noguchi claimed. Perhaps 3 feet instead of 3 inches. Noguchi rejected this. Impossible. Powder burns require extremely close range. His findings were scientifically sound. The LAPD then suggested Kennedy might have turned around just before being shot. Maybe Sirhan got behind him somehow. No witness reported this. Every person there said Kennedy was walking forward, facing forward, when Sirhan fired from the front. The LAPD's final position, the autopsy must be wrong somehow, because Sirhan was clearly the shooter and was clearly in front of Kennedy. Case closed. Except the case wasn't closed. Not for everyone. In 1975, forensic audio expert Philip Van Praag examined an audio recording made the night of the assassination. Polish journalist Stanislaw Pruszyński had been in the embassy ballroom that night. His recorder was running. It captured the shooting in the adjacent kitchen pantry. Van Praag analyzed this recording, using modern acoustic technology, unavailable in 19. He identified each gunshot on the recording, measured the intervals between them, analyzed the acoustic signatures. His conclusion, at least 13 gunshots fired, possibly 14. But Sirhan's gun only held 8 bullets. He fired all 8. Gun was empty when wrestled away. So where did the extra 5 or 6 shots come from? Van Praag's analysis was peer-reviewed. Other acoustic experts examined the recording. Most agreed, more than 8 shots. The LAPD responded that the sounds might have been echoes, ricochets, other noises misidentified as gunshots. Van Praag disagreed. The acoustic signatures were distinct. These were gunshots, not echoes. Then there were the bullet holes. The kitchen pantry ceiling tiles and door frames had bullet holes, extra holes beyond what Sirhan's 8 bullets could account for. Investigators photographed these holes, documented their locations. Some holes had bullets or fragments still embedded. The LAPD's criminalist, Dwayne Wolfer, examined the pantry. He concluded all bullets came from Sirhan's gun, but photographs show more holes than Sirhan could have made. Bullets recovered from victims in the pantry totaled more than 8. What did the LAPD do with this evidence? They destroyed it. The ceiling tiles were removed and destroyed. The door frames were removed and burned. The physical evidence that might have proven a second shooter, eliminated. When questioned later, LAPD said the destruction was routine. The evidence was no longer needed after Sirhan's conviction. Critics pointed out, you don't destroy evidence in the assassination of a presidential candidate, you preserve it. For history, for future investigation, the LAPD had no good answer for this. So if there was a second shooter, who was it? The most credible suspect, Thane Eugene Cesar. Cesar was a security guard, part-time employee of Ace Guard Service, assigned to work Kennedy's victory celebration that night. His specific assignment, escort Kennedy through the kitchen pantry to the press room. Cesar was directly behind Kennedy, hand on Kennedy's right elbow, walking in lockstep, less than 1 foot away. Perfect position to fire the shots, Dr. Noguchi documented. Behind Kennedy, point-blank range, behind the right ear. After the shooting, Cesar admitted he drew his weapon, told police he thought he was being shot at, drew his gun in response. Police asked, "Did you fire?" Cesar said, "No, I don't think so. Maybe, I'm not sure, it happened so fast." Later he changed his story. Definitely didn't fire. Just drew the gun. Never pulled the trigger. Cesar owned a .22 caliber handgun. Same caliber as the bullets that killed Kennedy. Same caliber as Sirhan's gun. The day after the assassination, Cesar sold that gun to a coworker for $15. Didn't report the sale. Gun disappeared. Never recovered for testing. When investigators finally questioned Cesar years later, he claimed he'd owned a different gun that night, a .38, not a .22. Said the .22 was home in a drawer. But Ace Guard service records showed Cesar checked out a .22 from the company that night. For his security assignment, Cesar also had motive, or at least strong animosity toward the Kennedys. In interviews with friends and coworkers after the assassination, multiple people reported Cesar expressed hatred for the Kennedy family, said they were destroying America, were too liberal, too soft on communism. Cesar denied this, said he respected Kennedy, had no animosity, but his political affiliations suggested otherwise. Cesar was connected to far-right groups, anti-Kennedy organizations, people who saw RFK as a threat to America. Did the LAPD investigate Cesar as a potential second shooter? Minimally. They questioned him once, accepted his statement, never followed up on the gun sale, never tested him for gunpowder residue, never checked his far-right connections. When pressed later, LAPD said Cesar wasn't a credible suspect. He was a security guard. No evidence linked him to the shooting, except his position behind Kennedy, his gun draw, his gun sale the next day, his political views, his changing stories. But the LAPD wasn't interested. Then there's Sirhan Sirhan himself, his defense, his claims. Sirhan has been in prison since 1969, convicted of first-degree murder, death sentence later commuted to life. He's been denied parole 16 times, most recently in 2022. At his original trial, Sirhan's defense argued diminished capacity, that he was in an altered mental state, possibly hypnotized or programmed. Sirhan himself claims to remember almost nothing about the assassination, says he remembers being at the hotel, remembers seeing Kennedy, then blank. No memory of shooting, of being tackled, of anything, until hours later in police custody. Over the years, multiple psychologists and hypnosis experts have examined Sirhan. Dr. Herbert Spiegel, Columbia University hypnosis expert, concluded Sirhan showed signs of having been hypnotically programmed, his memory gaps, his behavior patterns, his inability to explain his actions. Dr. Edward Simpson Collis tested Sirhan's response to hypnosis, found him highly susceptible, could be placed in deep trance states easily. The theory, Sirhan was programmed, possibly through hypnosis, to shoot at Kennedy, to be the distraction, the visible shooter everyone would see and tackle, while attention was on Sirhan in front. The real assassin, possibly Cesar, fired the fatal shots from behind. Sirhan became the patsy, the fall guy, the one everyone remembered. The theory sounds like conspiracy nonsense, except the evidence doesn't match Sirhan acting alone. The autopsy, the bullets, the witnesses, and there was a CIA mind control program in the 1960s. Did someone use these techniques on Sirhan? Was he programmed to shoot? There's no proof, but there's no good explanation for why he doesn't remember, why the physical evidence doesn't match his position. In 2011, Sirhan's legal team filed for a new trial, based on acoustic evidence, autopsy findings, Cesar's involvement. They presented the 13 gunshot audio analysis, Dr. Noguchi's testimony about the impossible shot angles, evidence of LAPD destroying bullet evidence. The request was denied. The judge ruled the evidence wasn't sufficient to overturn the conviction. In 2016, another attempt, this time with new witnesses. People who'd been in the pantry, who'd seen Cesar draw his gun, who'd heard shots from multiple directions. Denied again. In 2021, Sirhan's lawyers tried once more, presented all the evidence, asked for parole based on new findings. The parole board actually recommended release, said the evidence suggested Sirhan might not have fired the fatal shot. But California Governor Gavin Newsom rejected the parole board's recommendation, said Sirhan still posed a danger, would remain in prison. Sirhan is now 80 years old. He's been in prison for 56 years, for a shooting he claims not to remember, for bullets that probably weren't his. So what really happened on June 5? The evidence suggests this scenario. Sirhan was in the kitchen pantry, possibly programmed, possibly acting on his own hatred of Kennedy. He stepped forward as Kennedy approached, raised his gun, fired 8 shots. Those bullets hit some people, wounded 5, maybe grazed Kennedy, created chaos and confusion. But while everyone's attention was on Sirhan, while Carl Euchre grabbed his arm, while witnesses screamed, while people lunged to tackle him, someone else fired, from behind Kennedy. Point-blank range, 3 shots, behind the right ear, into the armpit, into the back. Those bullets killed Robert F. Kennedy, the most likely candidate. Thane Eugene Cesar, security guard, standing directly behind Kennedy, drew his gun, fired in the chaos, then holstered his weapon, faded into the background, sold his gun the next day, was never seriously investigated. Why would Cesar do this? Political motivation, far-right connections, hatred of the Kennedys, or he was hired, paid, part of a larger conspiracy. We don't know. Cesar died in 2019, denied involvement until his death, was never charged, never fully investigated. The LAPD destroyed the evidence that might have proven this theory, destroyed the ceiling tiles, burned the door frames, lost the bullets that didn't match Sirhan's gun. Why? Incompetence? Cover-up? Protecting someone? We don't know that either. What we do know, Dr. Noguchi's autopsy was scientifically sound. The fatal shot came from behind at contact range. Witnesses all agree Sirhan was in front, several feet away. Acoustic analysis suggests more than 8 shots. Physical evidence of extra bullet holes was destroyed. Thane Eugene Cesar was in the perfect position, drew his gun, sold it the next day, was never investigated. Sirhan claims no memory and shows signs of possible programming. None of this proves a second shooter, but all of it suggests the official story. Sirhan acted alone, doesn't match the evidence. June 5, 1968, 12:15 a.m. Ambassador Hotel kitchen pantry. Sirhan stepped forward, raised his gun, fired 8 times. Everyone saw him, everyone tackled him, everyone knew he was the shooter. But behind Robert F. Kennedy, someone else fired. 3 shots, point blank, behind the right ear. Fatal. Powder burns prove it. Dr. Noguchi found the evidence. LAPD ignored it, then destroyed it. Thane Eugene Cesar stood behind Kennedy, drew his gun, sold it the next day, never investigated, never charged, died in 2019 denying involvement. Acoustic analysis. 13 shots. Sirhan's gun, 8 bullets, 5 shots unaccounted for. Where did they come from? Ceiling tiles had extra bullet holes. LAPD destroyed them. Door frames had bullets that didn't match. LAPD burned them. Evidence that could prove a second shooter. Eliminated. Sirhan has been in prison 56 years. For bullets he probably didn't fire. He remembers nothing. Hypnosis experts say he was programmed. MK Ultra was real. Mind control experiments happened. Coincidence? The fatal shot impossible from Sirhan's position. Witnesses prove it. The autopsy. Impossible to ignore. Science doesn't lie. The LAPD conclusion. Sirhan acted alone, despite the evidence. Why? Incompetence? Or protecting someone? Robert F. Kennedy died from a bullet fired behind his right ear. Sirhan Sirhan was in front of him. Never behind, never close. Someone else fired that shot. The evidence proves it. But 56 years later, no one's been held accountable. The second gunman nobody talks about, still out there, or was. Thane Eugene Cesar died in 2019, free, unpunished. The truth about who killed Robert F. Kennedy, still buried, under destroyed evidence, ignored autopsies, closed investigations. Sirhan pulled the trigger, but did he fire the bullet that killed? The evidence says no. But the conviction stands. Justice or cover-up? 56 years later, we still don't know. The second gunman nobody talks about, the story they won't tell.